Hi Libra, welcome to Higher Source Tarot. This is for all Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for your 2020 year ahead predictions. So if you have Libra somewhere in your chart, you are in the right place. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed and commented, liked, and shared my videos. I really appreciate that. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when new videos come out. I release at least one video per sign each week for your week ahead reading. This week I'm going to do your yearly prediction, then I'll do January 2020. So you'll get that before the first of the year. So this next couple of days is a great time to set your intentions for the year ahead. Get very clear about what you want to call towards you for the year of 2020. Allow the universe to work in concert with you and deliver to you the things that you want. So Libra, if it's been kind of a tough 2019, you are headed straight forward. You don't need to look back, right? I mean, sometimes I tell people it's okay to look behind you, just don't stare. You know, we can take away those lessons and learn from patterns and understand better how our own vibration may have attracted a situation and how to manage our thinking so that we can raise that vibration. A couple years ago, Oprah Winfrey said her New Year's resolution was to raise her vibration. And I don't know how much of the world understood that, but I sure did. And I know why it's important, because you will have a very unconditional, stress-free situation if you can do that. Okay, you won't be tied to outcomes like we can sometimes do. So here we go. This is for Libra, and then for each month I'll pull a card, and then every 4 months I'll give you an Ask and It Is Given card as a clarifier. These are from Esther and Jerry Hicks, great teachers of Abraham Hicks and the Law of Attraction. So these have been really fun to see how they interplay with the Rider-Waite deck here. Now, if you're not that familiar with the Rider deck, I did a video a couple weeks ago explaining all the cards, just giving an overview. That would also be a good thing to do if you're watching a lot of tarot. This is for Libra 2020. All right, here we go with January, 8 of Pentacles. February, Temperance, going with the flow. March, the Empress, and then we get into the Hierophant. Very interesting lineup. So we're into May with the Ace of Pentacles. June, 10 of Swords. July, 4 of Pentacles. And August, the Chariot. September, the Tower. October, 8 of Wands. November, the Emperor, and the 10 of Pentacles as the outcome. And then on the bottom of the deck here, we can use this as a clarifier. You've got the 6 of Wands here, which we can kind of use with any of the cards. So you start off very focused, working hard. It's like you made some kind of, whether it's intention or resolution here, Libra, to begin the year, and you're working hard at it. So this can certainly be about money and finances, but I think it could also be about your health. So if you've created a vision board and you want a certain, health and fitness goal to be met, you are going to hit the ground running. So even though this shows, it's obviously someone very intentional, working hard, your work is going to pay off. So I think for you, especially if it's something where you want to transform your physical body, you're going to be very inclined to do that. That's going to come easily for you this year. In February, you have Temperance. Like I said, this is go with the flow. It can also be the sign of the alcoholic. So I don't get from the rest of the cards here an indicator that you're going to have a problem with drinking. But what I would tell you is if you no, I actually do struggle with that, this may be a time to look at some 12-step recovery, because part of it, the symbol for 12-step recovery is actually a triangle with a circle. He has a triangle with a square. But in this case, I would say that might also be a time to do that for yourself. If you've been struggling for a while, hit some AA meetings, see if you can, relate to anything there. But otherwise, I think it's just going to be more about balance, going with the flow. Just again, if there's a relationship, you've got cups in here too. and just showing that water flowing in and out in a harmonious way. I think it's probably more about that, because then you have the Empress in March. And the Empress is all about new beginnings, new growth. It's about flourishing. So I feel like if you started the year off with a commitment to your health, to money, to a relationship, by March here, you're going to be seeing the dividends of that. Here's your payoff right here, okay? If you have been struggling to conceive, this could also be in the spring or to even early summer is going to be a very good time for conception. So those of you that would like to start a family, this is going to be the year to do it for you. Then you have some kind of a change coming up in April here. Now with the Hierophant, when I did the tarot video explaining the cards, it's all about the soul's journey, and the Hierophant teaches the Fool, which represents the soul. Hierophant teaches the Fool and gives a blessing. Teaches the Fool about spirituality. It can also be about higher education. So if you're thinking, some of you might take a class or decide to do some kind of an additional training, that's for you. There's a blessing there. So that's going to go well. If you've been thinking about that for a while, this is an indicator that you should move forward with that. All of these cards in the first couple of months are all about moving you forward. These are not stagnant cards. They're all about flourishing, working hard, payoff, success, victory, okay? So very nice start to the year here for you. What if Source were standing in my physical shoes? That's such a cute card. It's not your job to make something happen. Your work is to simply determine what you want. If we were standing in your physical shoes, our attention would be upon bringing ourselves into alignment with the desires and preferences that we have launched. We would consciously feel our way into alignment. So yeah, so even though you put in the work, your real task is to just clear your mind, settle your mind, and allow the universe to deliver, to know that you are open to receiving, that your purpose here is of a higher purpose. So know that you're worthy, okay? Know that you are worth it, Libra, to receive the gifts from the universe. I might even call this "you are worthy," because I keep getting that lately with people who are struggling in that area. So in May, you're going to get a big offer here. This is going to be something that you have dreamed about, and it may be with the Hierophant too. It's possible, again, that there could be a marriage for some of you. You get the Empress. Could be a shotgun wedding for some of you. You know, that there's a pregnancy. You decide, you know, we've been talking about this. Let's just do it, and you're married. That could very well be happening for some of you. But there's a lot of momentum here. This is, especially with the Empress, is all about new growth, vitality, and a new start. You know, for some of you, I think you're going to have a new start this year, Libra. That's going to be a long time coming, and you're putting down some of the heavy weight that you carried in the past. You're not going to look back either. You're not going to miss it. So this looks really good. Now, in June, you've got a 10 here, which is the conclusion of a cycle, okay? And when I just said that, I was not even looking at this card, but when I said you're going to put down whatever that heavy weight is, that's what I think this is. I don't think somebody's going to come out of the blue and stab you in the back. I think this is all about whatever pain that you've been through. If you've gone to a therapist or you've done some kind of self-transformation, you're going to be closing a door on a chapter that was painful for you. And you're not going to go back to that. It is the end of a cycle for some of you that has come up probably a few different times. You know, one of the things you could do, there's a really great concept or model. It's called the 7 Mirrors of Relationships by the Essenes. So it's Essene. And that was a group who was partially responsible for writing the Dead Sea Scroll. So these are real people, like Jesus was an Essene, Mary Magdalene was an Essene. And these 7 mirrors of relationships can really show us subtly how our patterns show up. And it's really mind-blowing how that many thousands of years ago they were able to understand relationships in a modern way. So anyway, so for you, Libra, I think you're going to be putting this down. But I do think in July you're still a little bit guarded. And it may be too that you are financially wanting to save, and if there's a wedding, if there's some kind of a big relationship shift, you're going to want to be cautious with money here. Not overspending. So you might decide, you know what, I don't need that $6 cup of coffee, or I'm not going to, go out quite as much. I don't need to drive across town because I don't feel like putting the miles on my car and the gas and stuff. It's kind of on a mundane level, and I don't mean that to be boring, but I do think in July there may be a time where you are thinking about doing something and you just hold off a little bit, or you're being told to kind of hold off. I don't feel like this is so much somebody not letting go of their emotions as much as it is more about money in this reading. Now here you have Cancer. I can't remember if I named this off because you have Aries, Cancer. You have a lot of earth in this reading, quite a bit of earth, and fire too, and air. But here's Cancer, so if you're dealing with a Cancer or an Aries, this could certainly be for you. So this is all about moving forward, and so whatever you've been planning here is going to come to fruition, I feel like, in this month, and it's going to bring some pretty major changes. But I don't feel like it's going to be in a bad way. There's going to be some old things that you're going to have to let go of, but you've already been doing that throughout the year. So by the time you get to August, I think you're going to be wanting to move forward, and nothing's really going to get in your way. And vice versa, whoever you're dealing with is also not going to let anything stop them. We are going to move forward together, and there's like, I'm hearing that song, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us, from the 80s. Starship, remember that from the movie Mannequin? It's kind of like that. It's like, we've got this love. We are going to be together, and if we haven't done this in exactly a textbook fashion, you don't really care what other people think. It's not your business anyway. I am attracting its vibrational essence, okay? You can allow it or not, but the basis of your world is well-being. The law of attraction says that which is like unto itself is drawn, and so the essence of whatever you give your attention to is unfolding in your experience. Therefore, there is nothing that you cannot be, do, or have. This is law. So know that you can have anything. I think I said in the beginning, asking it is given, and that's all you have to do. Now, I think with that Chariot in September, you're going to have to make some changes, because you're going to go moving forward at warp speeds, and it's going to rock some things, okay? And that's okay. Sometimes we need to do that. But I do think if there was something that wasn't built on a strong foundation, that's going to be removed from your life. So if you've had some kind of superficial fake friends, they're going to be exiting, because this relationship that you're building here is not going to withstand that. There's not going to be enough room for it. So there is going to be a departure here in September, but I don't feel like it's of the relationship piece. I think it's actually, for some of you, it's more of like a friendship or even possibly a work situation. In October, you're going to be moving forward again, you've got the Chariot and the Eight of Wands. This is about communication, but it's also about action. So in the month of October, the things that you've been putting into play here are going to go forward without, it seems like, without anything stopping them. It's a very exciting time, but it's also like you've got to kind of brace for change, because it does happen very quickly. Ideas just seem to come in, and whatever you want to do, if you're house hunting, it's like the perfect house just shows up. There it is. We've got to have this place. Communication will be very solid. It'll be very clear, and you won't have any setbacks. That's what I'm getting. There will be no setbacks, because then you go right into the Emperor, and the Emperor cannot be slowed down. This is not somebody, who is going to mess around and play a bunch of games. This, in the Fool's journey, is where the Fool learns about authority, structure. It's just a very confident energy. He's not very emotional. I mean, he's got a very stern look on his face. But interestingly enough, you've got the Empress a couple rows ahead of him, and those are the counterparts. So where she's very emotional and loving and nurturing, he's kind of stoic, but he's smart. Okay, so the decisions you make are going to be head over heart, but they're going to be very smart decisions. And then everybody loves to see this. The Ten of Pentacles, this is all about happiness, well-being, joy, spreading the joy. It's also the conclusion of a cycle because it's a 10. So again, where you have the 10 of Swords, you end the year with this 10 of Pentacles. And I think this year is going to be very transformative for Libra. I think it's going to be a year where some old wounds are going to be healed, and you are going to move forward in a very confident way with the Emperor and the Chariot into this 10 of Pentacles. So there's something for everyone in this card, right? There's, you know, the animals are kind of looking up in awe. They're kind of these two little Velcro dogs. You've got the old man, the young little boy, the couple, and this beautiful palace behind them. So it's basically wish fulfillment. So by the end of the year, your efforts are going to pay off and you will have wish fulfillment. So very nice. And again, you've had this too as a clarifier. So again, this is victory and success for Libra. Whatever I can imagine, the universe can deliver, can and will, right? If you have the ability to imagine it or even to think about it, this universe has the ability and resources to deliver it fully unto you. For it is like a well-stocked kitchen with every ingredient imaginable at your disposal. So it's kind of one of those things where you have to learn to trust, because if you go into a restaurant and you order a steak, they don't bring out a grilled cheese. You don't sit while you're waiting for your order to arrive thinking, I hope they don't bring out a grilled cheese. I didn't order that. I hope they don't do that. You don't sit and do that. But sometimes when we put out our desire into the universe, we second guess it and we start to overthink it. So it's kind of the same thing. You have to trust in the universe just like you trust in those day-to-day processes, right? You know, when you go in and get your hair cut, you don't worry that they're gonna completely shave your head if you didn't ask for that. But sometimes when we put out our intentions, we second guess, and that's what slows us down. So I want you to, at least when you set your intentions, try to align yourself with that same confident feeling that you get when you place an order in the physical plane. Okay? When we place an order at a restaurant, we don't ever second guess that. It's the same thing. The universe is here to wait on you and to deliver to you. So I so appreciate, again, all the subscribers. It's always fun for me to see new subscribers. I will be back later in the week for your January 2020 videos. And in the meantime, if you have time on your hands and you're not sure what to do, I'd look up some Abraham Hicks. You can also find the 7 Mirrors of the Essenes. There's over an hour-long video by Greg Braden that's really good in explaining that. So I love you, Libra, and I'm so appreciative of you watching today, and I will see you again in a few days.